So here we have it. It's going to be Lama Cleave. That's a Verdantstorm, Smexxin, and Alds. And oh my God, are they playing 3 DPS? They are. They're actually playing 3 DPS.
Well, he might be in. No, he's got 1 weapon equipped. What? He's in Stance of the.
Oh.
Yeah, when you're in Stance of the Fierce Tiger, you have energy instead of mana and stuff. Yeah.
I was like, what the?
So what do you think about the choice of Cdew's team being Horde?
It's an obvious choice. You have to play Orc against any mage team, basically, as a shaman.
For the deep. Yeah.
Shamans just get trained relentlessly, and being anything but Orc, you know, with Deep Freeze into Stormbolt into Shockwave potentially 3 stuns in a row, you just need it.
All right, now Snutz is going to be tossing out. He is going to get his gateway down right there. You know, Snutz choosing to be the Undead Warlock this time as Cdew immediately gets deeped.
Yeah, and actually they're going to be going hard onto Venruki though. All the recklessness and everything came out from Smexxin there.
He already blocked.
The immediate block, but I mean, you know, 1 block is not a bad trade for all those cooldowns. But look at Snutz now, and the Ring of Peace coming out offensively. Snutz has to pull back as well, and huge damage is just coming out everywhere from this team. But you know, this is one of the scary parts of Mage Warrior. They have these fearsome openers, and you know, if you can get through that, they can start to stabilize and really start to turn it around here. I think because you know, Zwen was used, Recklessness was used, Alter Time was used, everything. So now we have to look for Venruki, Snutz, and Cdew to really make something happen. Yeah,
Cdew already having to Ascendance during that opener, so that's a pretty big cooldown that he already had to use. As the sheep comes down on Cdew, Ven doing a great job knowing even Snutz was stunned by that shockwave there, but Ven is kind of by himself at this point. You know, I don't know if he's waiting for Cdew to port over, but now he's going to have the orb out onto Smexxin, so he's going to be tossing a lot of that instant damage as there we go, Life Cocoon coming out on Smexxin. That Ring of Peace is awesome right on top of that Spirit Link because they all had to be inside of it. Snutz having to trinket. Also, Ven is still kind of in trouble at this point. You know, wow, already a 2nd block.
Yeah, I mean, 2 blocks, Link, they're just crushing through these cooldowns, and all you can see was he's just being kind of a spell steal bot right now, trying to keep him clean, and that's really what forced the Spirit Link out. You know, cleaning every Riptide, every Earth Shield off is making it so hard for Cdew to heal through this, and Smexxin is just staying, you know, right onto the back of Ven right now. Ald, you know, is going to get hexed up here. He's going to sit through that. He's going to have to actually trick it. He's going to get locked out right after that, so this is going to relieve a little bit of pressure here. The sheep coming out now, though, is actually going to land on Cdew, and that is full, and Ven, you know, Cdew doesn't want to trick at this, and Ven needs to kite here. He's playing that Frost Ward spec as well for the additional Nova. Alter Time coming out from Aldo. He's doing a ton of damage here, and Ven could potentially actually just go down. The Healing Tide is out. The Trinket had to come out there from Cdew as well. Spirit Walker's Grace going out, but he's just not actually going up in HP. Now a big heal does land, and he is going to get topped up a little bit. But the Healing Tide expiring, and Venruki's still, you know, sitting at like half HP, and Cdew's really struggling.
He really is. That Spirit Walker's Grace was perfectly timed, able to dance out of that Ring of Peace. They did just try to stun Verdantstorm, and so that dematerialized procs, but look at Smexxin. Wow, LOSing all the damage because Verdant just dispelled a UA right there, but that was, you know, that was a risky choice, but it looks like it paid off, you know, able to clean his teammate of damage, but Snutz immediately getting those Demon's Soul dots right back up. Stormlash Totem coming down, then with the orb right now, lots of damage onto Alds right now, doesn't have a trinket available and able to block it off though.
Yeah, and finally some CC coming out on the Verdant. He was held up, but still sitting, you know, a couple minutes into the game with Will and Trinket. Not something you expect to see against a comp like MLS with triple CC, and now the sheep going to land on him. They need to start forcing the cooldowns out of him, but they just haven't been able to do it just yet. And I mean, Smexxin not really taking too much damage there, and I feel like, you know, if you're not going to full on like completely commit to Smexxin, just don't even hit him. Defensive stance is just too strong. They're having more success, it feels like, going on Ald, so I feel like they really need to focus on the CC and just damaging Ald, but will they even get to that point? Because there's a Blink CS onto Cdew. I believe it was faked by him, yes, and it was. Nice job by Cdew anticipating that Blink CS. Snutz and Ven looking like on the back of that are going to be able to get top back off, but there's the in cap coming out, and Verdant still, you know, Will and Trinket available, and probably still has his Nimble even, so he's just doing a fantastic job avoiding all the CC and being able to sit through it.
That Tiger loves CC and loves to break it, leaps right over to Snutz after that port on the Paralyze and breaks it, all taking a bunch of damage with the Life Cocoon onto Smexxin right now, so that's going to stop a lot of that damage with that gigantic absorb. Verdant sitting pretty well right now as he tosses out the Thunder Focus T, and look at Ven right now taking so much damage. Second block, or third block comes right back up. Extremely lucky at that point.
Yeah, I mean, Recklessness and everything was popped from Smexxin, and you know, if you connect, that's basically a guaranteed block, so you know, he had had to use that. But pushing through those cooldowns very, very fast is Lama Cleave, and they're really looking like the dominant team so far in this game. And I've been shocked at how little CC has been able to come out onto Verdantstorm. There's the MCS, so it's a deep freeze on a Smexxin, but it just doesn't seem like it's enough damage. They're getting him down to about half HP as that MCS ends, as the deep freeze comes out, but he just immediately top back up to full, and they either need to get a much longer chain to have this be effective on the warrior, or try to switch it up, because Venruki is in so much trouble right now. Does blink over to the gateway, probably getting a gateway now. Yep, there it goes. Yep. But if Heroic Leap is available, he's going to be right back to him.
Not only that, Cdew had to trinket that last CC right there to keep Ven alive before the port. Ven does get hit by that silence on the Ring of Peace, which he trinkets, I do believe. So this could be interesting. Ven really low right now, kind of in trouble. Incapacitate and Stormbolt onto Cdew's. Ven is by himself right now, followed by a very short deep freeze as there we go, Spirit Link comes down. Ald might be in trouble too, though, taking a bunch of damage. Deep freeze onto Verdantstorm. That is going to sit the entire duration of that dematerialize, so he isn't going to be protected by that. Lots of damage out onto Ven with the half sheep onto Cdew. And
finally, they do get that trinket, or maybe it was the will, but I believe it was the trinket out of Verdantstorm, and the will came out of Ald, so they're finally getting something going onto this monk, and he's going to be re-CC'd up. And look at how much more effective they're being on this mage. He's down very, very low. He should have to block, and he does. So the second time they go to the mage, they got to block each time, and I think that this is just showing you. I mean, they have to scare the warrior a little bit. They can't let him sit in battle stance, but it's just not effective going on him. Warriors just take too little damage. They're too tanky, and they're not able to really get the pressure out that they need. They need to focus on the CC on Verdant and go back to Ald's. The deep freeze does come in onto Smexxin, but it's going to be DR'd plus the Orc Racial. Only lasted about a second or two.
And there goes the next Life Cocoon coming out on to Ald right now. When this fades,
preemptive.
Yeah, they might have a pretty good shot. And he trinkets right there. So Ald definitely a possible kill target coming up shortly. Oh, actually, that might have been an intervene. So Ven looking to try to connect, and it looks like he is casting on to the water elemental currently.
Oh, a nice fear with the sheep onto Cdew, so he could not tremor it. The healing tide was down though. He should be okay. All taking some pretty serious damage though himself. A nice Shadow Fury comes in there on the warrior and the mage from Snutz, and a really good job. The blanket CS coming out as well, and the second block is going to be forced, and they're just really getting through so much more here onto Ald, and we see the last stand used there by Smexxin as well. And the trinket and the will now are down for Verdant, so they're finally really getting what they need done. They're picking up the play a lot, but Venruki's still in trouble, but he's back behind the pillar with Cdew. As long as he doesn't LOS this Unleash Shield, he should be able to get him top back off.
Yep. That deep poly did force a trinket out of Cdew, so Ven could be in trouble here, as we see a Paralyze coming out onto Snutz right there, as Ven has a Tiger on his back too, a little bit of extra damage, and it looks like they aren't connecting to Ald very much, as he's able to get extremely far away right now, kind of resetting because Verdant was in CC right there, as he dispels a UA.
Yeah, and he's going to be sitting that full fear though, so Ald has to be a little bit careful, because only takes a couple seconds of connecting if you have those procs up, if you have the Ice Lance and everything up. Smexxin going to be able to land the pummel on the poly though. Good job breaking up that CC from him, and you can see the root interruption glyph being played with once again. The water LE does fall, pretty annoying there for Venruki having that trained away on constantly, but look at Verdant's mana and then look at Cdew's mana. I mean, this monk is basically sitting completely full on mana, still has Mana Tea stacks available as well. His trinket just came back up, so he's sitting pretty with that, but it seems like the MLS have kind of found their stride a little bit. They found the strategy that they need to do, and we'll see if that's going to be more effective going forward. This Frost Orb did come out, was connecting on the mage and the warrior. You can see them rotting down a little bit as a result of that, but not too much. Now the deep freeze comes out on Smexxin, but once again, DR'd from that Shadow Fury, and the shield wall is forced out with the MCS onto Verdant. So they are forcing out that major cooldown. That's definitely a good job there, and perhaps can capitalize on that later, but Trinket's still available for everyone on Lama Cleave.
We do see that Haunt did get reflected, I do believe, onto Snutz, as Cdew eats a full sheep right there. No trinket available, as Venruki could be in trouble right here, down to half. Tosses out, trying to get that, or Ald was trying to get that ring out. That would have been a great ring, as he does get counterspelled by Ven. Ven getting about half health right there. Big heals coming out of Cdew. He did previously use his Ascendance again to try to keep himself up on mana. Snutz, there we go. Demon Soul dots coming out of Snutz right now. Let's see if their team can make something work. Ald's getting his pet finally back out. That was a long time without a pet.
Yeah, and I mean, Cdew does get MCS there. The trinket is back up for Cdew though, but both the will and the trinket up here for Verdant. He's going to use the Life Cocoon. This was a much better one than the last one on Ald, who was taking a lot of damage there, down to about 200k. It allowed him to focus on topping Smexxin back off without worrying about Ald getting too low. So well played there by Verdant. We do see that the will, or rather, the will did come out, and now it's into a full trinket, and he can't use that trinket because of the shared cooldown with the Will of Forsaken. We'll see if Ven can follow that back up. Ald's starting to play a lot more defensive, and they're trying to pressure Smexxin as a result of that. Trinket's the very end of the deep freeze. Got a little bit scared to sit through that. I think
once the orb came out, he immediately Trinket and leaped away. It was pretty smart, but look, he's still taking a lot of damage. I mean, obviously he's going to be sitting in D stance that entire time, but it looks like they're swapping back and forth between Ald and Smexxin, doing a great job, but that Safeguard helping Ald out a whole lot during this match.
Yeah, Safeguard actually very underrated, just for the reduction in damage. Not just those root breaks, but Venruki in a lot of trouble right now. Is from spell stealing so much, and he's at 130k. He actually could go down here. Cdew is MCS. The block comes out. Is there a Shattering Throw available? Does look like he's actually going to come out of that block, so I'm not sure if that was shattered or if he just decided to cancel early, but he's going to gate across the map. Is there Heroic Leap up? Doesn't look like it just yet. Smexxin just going to charge over onto Snutz, gives Cdew some time to top him back off. Snutz taking a little bit of damage, but nothing to worry about just yet. But there's the deep freeze into the sheep. That's going to be immediately Trinket. Spiritwalker's Grace goes up from Cdew. Storm bolted on that, though. Venruki in so much trouble here. He may go down, but Smexxin getting it turned around on him. He did get the die by the sword up preemptively for this deep freeze, but will it be enough? The link goes down from Cdew. The MCS actually coming out accidentally on Smexxin, and that could be enough for him to stay alive. The last stand goes up, and he is still down quite low. Perhaps it was trying to prevent the last stand.
I think it was trying to, yeah, but it didn't seem to work. He got it off right before, as Verdant is going to sit that poly, having to because his Trinket is still down, and Smexxin ends up dying. Wow, that was a crazy match. Yeah, they just got so spread out there at the end. Verdant was so far away from Smexxin, and Smexxin, I think his eyes got a little bit too big there with Venruki getting very low. The link, everything was already down. There was no ice blocks, and I think he said, I can kill this guy. I'm going for it. And it just seemed like all of a sudden he just got way too far in, and maybe a little bit overconfident from how little damage he was taking in the earlier stages. But the reason he was taking so little damage was because the positioning between him and Verdant was so good, and they were constantly able to land those heals when they needed, and Verdant was always having his Trinket and his will available and everything. And at the end, they just didn't have that. And I mean, it was really a good job capitalizing on that from the MLS. I really did like that they started going on the mage more, and I think that opened up the game to allow them to go back on Smexxin. You can't just go on the warrior. I think like they were at the start, it just really wasn't working. But we saw once they started going on Ald, they were able to force out 2 blocks. They couldn't get a kill because Ald then started playing much more defensively, but it opened up the map very much more. Ald was having to be back behind pillars. He was having to run away every time Verdant got CC'd, and it was kind of leaving Smexxin in these 3v1 situations because he wanted to still stay aggressive. Ald was hiding behind a pillar. His monk was CC'd, and I think he just got a little bit too overconfident having Venruki down very low. It was amazing the momentum shift once Verdant started getting CC'd too. Like you were calling out right from the start. He had everything up. He like tossed out an early life cocoon, and that's about it. Other than that, he was sitting perfectly fine. Sitting back, stacking up that Mana Tea, playing very defensively and stuff. And then once they started blinking in and trying to get those deeps, trying to land a counter spell followed by a fear, they put him in a couple positions where he had to use will onto a fear and then not able to get out of the next stun. I mean, those are some big plays. Yeah, it definitely makes a huge difference. So very well played game there from 3 Amigos. A really exciting one as well. Very back and forth. And this can go either way. And Lama Cleave is going to have the next map pick. What do you think they're going to pick? Lama Cleave being that melee team, do you think they're going to go for a small map? I think it just depends on strategy. I mean, you can play it a lot of different ways. This is a team that definitely can slay shamans very well. If they want to go for Cdew, I think that Runes is a great pick. I think that's like kind of the penultimate healer training map. That's like when you pick that map, that's usually what you're saying is you want to be able to pressure the healer, whether it's through CC or damage. And generally when it's a shaman, it's through damage. Just because as a shaman, the kite path on that map is so poor. You have your gate from the tomb to the entrance, right? So you can either gate to the tomb from the entrance, but that means you're having to sit in the entrance at the start, and that means there's no way to avoid orbs that are getting shot in there. The warrior's going to be able to sit right on you. And if you do it the other way, if you gate back to the room, then you have to kite back to the tomb, which means you're walking through this massive open space while you're being just crushed by this mage and the warrior. So I think that would be a great pick if they're willing to commit to training Cdew. But it's also, kind of going all in on healers can be a little bit risky. So we'll have to see if that's a strategy they want to go for.
Yeah, Verdant and Ald, they've played with a ton of different warriors on the ladder. Why do you think they decided to go with Smexxin?
He's good. I mean, we've seen him show up, especially early in this season. He really played very strongly at the start of the season. If you keep an eye on the ladders and stuff, you look, and even though he only has 2 rank 1 and 4 gladiator titles, and I mean, you look at some of the other cards that people have been playing since season 1, and they're like, 14 times Gladiator, 8 times, rank 1 or whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
He's still a name that constantly pops up. Seen him play some impressive high monk play also. So, a well-rounded player, anyone who plays that much, he's definitely going to know what to do in every situation. I think it was a solid choice, and it's showing, he's been doing a great job.
Yeah, and I mean, honestly, I think that it just comes down to who you feel most comfortable with. You play a lot of games with different people. They obviously had a lot of different choices. They went with Smexxin, and that's who they felt best
The
with.
one you really mesh with.
Yep.
Right. Getting into the next match, Amigos and Lama Cleave.
So we followed Smexxin during most of that match. You think we should stick on him and see how he handles it, or?
I'd be really interested to watch how Snutz plays this one. See if he's going to get aggressive early on with CC on Verdant. I think that was a key thing that we talked about last game. And just seeing, how he's going to play it. Is he going to try to stay a bit more defensively, try to pump out maximum damage, just kind of staying back behind the pillar and everything, or if he's going to go really aggressive. And on this map, this is a good map for really going on anyone. It's another small map. It's not specifically designed to train the Shaman, but you can do that, and you can also stick to Venruki a lot easier. So a great map pick here from Lama Cleave.
All right, now Snutz is going to get that bottom gateway out. We talked about positioning gateway.
Did.
Oh, he did not. I think he moved right before. Oh, wow, and barely gets it off before the shockwaves.
Recklessness, though, yeah, everything being popped. We do see the Ring of Peace as well going on in Venruki. He's going to gate out of there immediately. Will Smexxin be able to get back to him? Yes, the Heroic Leap immediately lands him right on the face of Venruki there. But big heals did come out from Cdew. Cdew was already positioned at the corner, anticipating that gateway. But now, here comes the swap. And we do see the deep freeze over onto Ald, the orb coming out as well. The MCS after that, it's actually, the trinket was already used there by Ald as well. Verdantstorm catching that Ueda spell. He's going to be MCS off that. Ald's going to be forced into the ice block already. So a big star here for the 3 Amigos.
It really is. Now Ald is, looks like he is playing that ice block glyph, I do believe. Saw that icon lasting, but Ven down to half right now with that Tiger chasing him down, but it looks like the Warrior is nowhere to be found quite yet. Smexxin is feared away, choosing to Zerker Rage out of that and try to stick on to Ven, who is getting dangerously low at this point. Snutz has that Demon Soul up, tossing out those big dots, but Verdant hasn't been hit by any quite yet, so getting a decent amount of rot on those two players.
There's that full sheep, though, and now this is where things can start to get scary for Ald. Second block may have to be forced here if they have the follow-up. Do they have it? Yes, there's the MCS. Can they get the fear off that? We'll see. Doesn't look like it. Snutz was not, unfortunately, in position to get that, but the Shadow Fury does come out from Snutz there. Nicely played by him, and Smexxin getting very low, and this is what I was talking about. Pressuring the mage forced him and Verdant back on the other side of the map, and Smexxin didn't want to retreat. He was across the map in a 3v1 situation. That's going to force out Die by the Sword. That's going to force him to use his Heroic Leap defensively, and that means next time a gateway is used, it's a free escape.
Yeah, it really is. Smexxin getting a little bit greedy on there because Ven was getting so low. Choosing to hit Snutz for a little bit, Snutz immediately using Dark Regen the second that the Warrior hit him. So that was pretty good to prevent a lot of damage. That ring goes down, which is on top of Smexxin. Smexxin just walking right through it, unless that was Ald's ring. But there we go. Ring of Peace now on top of Smexxin. I love that play with the Ring of Peace behind these boxes.
Yeah, it's such a good combo. It means that Ven can't really blink out of there. Ven taking a lot of damage here. We may see the first block. Yep, there it is coming out. Shattering Throw, though, being channeled out. We did see that it's going to break out, and Snutz trying to CS that. I think must have been a bit of a mistake there, but Alter Time has been popped here by Ven, and he's going to be putting out a lot of damage here into all of the Life Cocoon. Was used immediately onto him. Smexxin taking some damage here as well, down to 250k HP, chasing after Snutz, but he's going to be getting healed back up over in the corner, and Venruki now once again will be the target here from Smexxin, who is right back onto him. We do see that the Colossus Smash is up. Ven going to be popping that Orc Racial, probably going to be going for the deep freeze here. We do see that the shield wall was used by Smexxin, full dots up on him. The sheep is still sitting onto Verdant. They haven't followed. Yes, full fear comes out, and this could be it for Smexxin as the shield wall is shortly going to expire here. Do they have any more CC for Verdant? They're going to need to get it, but he's down to 180k. There's no follow-up just yet, but the Ueda spell comes in. It's Snutz in position to get the refear. Doesn't look like it just yet. He's going to get CS and intimidating shouted off of that. We can't see the tremor coming in either because there was nice deep on to Cdew.
All right, that was amazing by Verdantstorm right there. The Dispel scared me, but there were a bunch of orbs sitting around that he was able to walk around and heal himself up, plus a number of huge orb heals. But Ven taking so much damage right now, tossing out that evocation heal, getting every little thing he can. His Cold Snap has 20 seconds on it still, but I do believe he's only used one block at this point. Full sheep onto Verdant right now. Does have a trinket. He's going to sit it because his teammates look to be fine right now. That was a great play right there. Choosing to trinket that early may have spelt doom a little later in the match.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, you have to be able to make these tough choices time and time again throughout these high-level matches, and these players are really the masters of it. So we do see that Icy Veins has been popped by Ven, trying to get offensive onto Smexxin once again, who is taking a lot of pressure right now. We do see the UA Dispel caught there by Verdantstorm, trying to remove those dots up as best as he can, and just constantly trying to take them off over and over. The Water Rally going to get killed off for Venruki, but I don't think they've been killing them enough that it's really a huge issue for him. We do see UA Dispel caught once again there by Verdant. His Trinket's back up, his Will's about to be back up, so he's going to be in a good position to get out of whatever CC he needs.
Yeah, and it looks like there goes the next Water Elemental. It must have been a strat change, called by someone on the team that now we need to go onto him. That Spell Reflection comes up. It didn't reflect anything major, I don't think. Ald sitting that short Hex, and Verdant looking like he's going to gain some mana back with that Mana Tea. Still sitting pretty decently on mana at 200k, tossing out a bunch of those spheres. As we do see some more Demon Soul dots coming out onto both Ald and Smexxin. So this seems like it could be a decent amount of setup. There we go. Now we're going to see UA recast as the dots do get dispelled off of Verdantstorm. Ald in so much trouble right now, having to use the block because another UA dispel came out on Verdant. These are some risky dispels.
Yeah, and I mean, he just really wants to stop the rotting. That's the best thing he's trying to do, but it can be scary at times because, if the Mage Burst comes out right after that, there's nothing you can do to react to that. But at the same time, Ald did force the Trinket out of Cdew with that Palm Sheep, but had to push in really far to get that, and that's part of the reason that he had to Ice Block there. So whether it was worth it or not, we'll have to find out if they can capitalize on some good CC onto Cdew a little bit later on. And we do see that Smexxin once again just kind of swapping it over onto the pets, just wants to hit whatever he can at this point. A big Shockwave comes in, that's going to connect with 3. He's going to have that reduced duration. He's going to pop all his cooldowns here. Venruki needs to get out of there. Will he be able to do it? The Shadow Fury does come in. There's the MCS. The CS comes over onto Cdew as well. Looks like not that effective though with these cooldowns. He's pretty much stuck in those Novas for the majority of it, and this Recklessness is not going to be one that's going to force out really much of anything, at least for now, because Venruki is starting to rot down quite a bit. Verdant going to be resheeped up there by Cdew, but Cdew has not been able to connect over with Venruki and get him topped off just yet.
Silence come out onto Verdantstorm with that MCS. I don't believe he was hit on any cast, but Smexxin still sitting kind of low. There we go. Now he gets some big orb heals, healed up to full as that Water Elemental dies yet again. So that might be a little while before Ven can recast it. It does have a short cooldown. Smexxin taking a bit of damage. She's going to go very, very offensive. Zerker rages out of that. Orb on top of everyone hitting. Oh, there we go. Now we're going to see a gate. Cdew getting deeped after the gate too, but he does have Ven sitting right next to him. Another fear onto Snutz. Snutz eating a lot of CC, but Ald's taking a lot of damage right now. Smexxin getting sprinted by that Tiger's Lust. And Verdant eating a quick stun for that Dematerialize as he does get silenced also. Lots of CC coming out from both sides. Yeah,
definitely. But Verdant once again still has been able to hold on to that Will and the Trinket. And this is kind of the story. When they get that CC onto Verdant, that's when things happen. But when they can't, it's really just kind of a bit of a losing battle. He's able to keep Smexxin offensive onto Venruki, and it's very tough for them to do anything with that. We do see the Snutz taking some damage here, down to about half HP or so, maybe 2/3 HP. The Shockwave did come in on a Venruki. He does have his Icy Veins up, his Orc Racial up as well. The Deep Freeze does go in. It's going to be triggered by Smexxin, who's trying to get out of there. The Shadow Fury came in onto Verdant. That is going to prompt the Life Cocoon, and we are going to see the swap over onto Ald now, as there was the UA Dispel caught by Verdant. He's going to be channeling out that Mana Tea as well while he was silenced up, and Ald, again from spell stealing so much, but Venruki getting quite low here. Has to be a bit careful, but at the same time, Smexxin, I don't know if you want to charge him behind that pillar when you're this low, and he's at 60k, he's going to go down.
Wow, that was rough.
That was just so much damage coming in at the end, and I mean, I think he kind of got over there and regretted where he was a little bit.
Tried to leap out.
Yeah.
So right towards the end, we did see Verdant get feared, and then he did have to will that, so he didn't have his Trinket available, so we'll have to see, when we look back at those VODs eventually, if there was a little bit of CC, but yeah, that was super aggressive by Smexxin, and he definitely paid for it.